We hire and pay people to be state highway inspectors in order to make sure that the contractors who build our roads do it right. But what if one of those inspectors is secretly on the payroll of a contractor whose multi-million-dollar project he's inspecting? Well, this is not a what if, it's a done deal. Here's News 13 investigative reporter Larry Barker.
This is the trust of the taxpayers we're talking about.
And it appeared that there was some criminal behavior and some criminal actions.
To the casual observer, this is just a driveway. But to law enforcement officials, there's something fishy about this stretch of pavement, and it's got the scent of scandal.
Details of what happened here in Tucumcari have been kept under wraps for 6 years. In fact, it's only in the last couple of months that we've been able to put all the pieces of the puzzle together.
This story begins here, along the central business district of this eastern New Mexico community. In 2006, the State Transportation Department spent a year and $16 million repairing, renovating, and repaving First Street, Tucumcari's main thoroughfare. Two construction companies were hired for the job, Albuquerque-based A.S. Horner and Daniel Construction in Tucumcari.
The DOT's civil engineering tech, Tommy Garcia, was the lead inspector on the project. Garcia is accused of not only being on the payroll of private contractors, but also diverting leftover asphalt from the state project to pave his own driveway.
It was Tommy Garcia's job to oversee and approve contractor work on the Tucumcari Highway project. But it wasn't just downtown that got an expensive new look. At the same time as they were renovating Tucumcari's public streets for the highway department, contractors quietly built an expensive driveway at the private residence of the DOT's road inspector, Tommy Garcia. Daniel Construction paved Garcia's driveway after hours. A.S. Horner helped out too, by supplying construction equipment and manpower. A state police investigator was later told the contractors used truckloads of leftover asphalt from the state highway project to pave Tommy Garcia's driveway. Garcia says he paid for the $7,000 driveway job with a $2,500 check, some cash, and the rest he claims he worked off in his spare time. That was 06. The driveway deal was kept under wraps for 4 years until a tip in 2010 launched a state police investigation.
So we looked into allegations as to whether or not there was a criminal activity going on.
Tim Rose is the Quay County District Attorney.
An allegation that an individual that worked as a highway supervisor in charge of inspecting a highway project had a fairly large asphalt driveway put in at his residence. There were some indications that the asphalt that was used was intended and actually purchased by the state of New Mexico for the highway project.
The Department of Transportation's Inspector General opened its own investigation, but for unknown reasons, the DOT refused to turn its findings over to police. In fact, the DOT hid this report from the authorities for 3 years.
The state police officer who was handling the case was trying and made numerous attempts to get access to this investigative report. Finally, I was able to, in February, write a letter, pretty strongly worded letter to the Department of Transportation, copy that over to the governor's office, demanding to have access to that.
In April, the DOT's investigation was finally turned over to the DA. Among the findings was a bombshell. According to the Inspector General, at the same time as Tommy Garcia was inspecting highway projects for the state, he was secretly on the payroll of Daniel Construction, the same contractor whose work he was inspecting. And it was Daniel Construction that paved Garcia's private driveway. According to the DOT, Garcia's failure to disclose his outside employment is a violation of the Governmental Conduct Act. DA Rose says the police investigation found indications of criminal activity. However, due to the lengthy delays, Rose was forced to close the case without filing charges.
Even if we wanted to pursue charges, Larry, it just wasn't going to happen. The case would have been dismissed based on the statute of limitation problem.
I don't believe this is appropriate operating behavior for a state-run department.
Tom Church was named DOT Cabinet Secretary in April and was not involved in the handling of this case.
He worked undisclosed for a subcontractor. He had used equipment from the primary contractor to pave his driveway. He made a payment to a contractor that was significantly less than the dollar value of the project. The fact that he was inspecting a project, then he used those contractors for personal use is unacceptable.
The DOT disciplined Tommy Garcia. A department source calls the punishment, however, minimal. Today, Garcia is assigned to the Department of Transportation's District 4 office in Las Vegas.
What I do at work has nothing to do with what I do at home.
Garcia says he's done nothing wrong. However, he admits being on the payroll of DOT contractor Daniel Construction while working as a state highway inspector.
You were an employee of Daniel?
Well,
You
not
said that you
employee
had
with the
been.
state.
You said that you'd worked with them from time to time
Yeah, on and off, yeah, just on the side.
on the side. So you had worked for them, though?
Man, not officially, no.
Daniel Construction owner Daniel Morris refused comment and hung up. Johnny Macias is project superintendent for the A.S. Horner Construction Company.
How did it happen that A.S. Horner equipment was used to help pave the inspector's private driveway?
I was called by Daniel Construction to borrow one of my pieces of equipment. I told him yes, he could borrow it.
Did he tell you what he wanted to use the equipment for?
No, and I did not ask either.
You didn't know that he was going to use that equipment to pave the inspector's driveway?
No, sir.
Was a crime committed here? We may never know.
And I'm not saying whether they're guilty or they're not guilty. All I can say is that we had an investigation, and it's an investigation that resulted eventually in enough that I would have approved charges.
Bottom line, was it right or was it wrong?
It was absolutely wrong to pave your driveway while you're in the inspector on a project.
Larry Barker, KRQE News 13.